Hello, hello, hello. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to 147 episodes of the Curvy Critic with Carla Renata. I am your host, Carla Renata, and if this is your first time being here, this is what we do here. I talk to and interview and review talent above and below the line in the film industry. I have a special live guest for you today. I will introduce him in just a minute. I have some housekeeping items to take care of. Also, if this is your first time here, give me a big old thumbs up to let me know you were here, and subscribe and click that bell for notifications on if you're watching this via YouTube. All right, here we go. Let me acknowledge some people in the chat room that are here to see Harold. I see Anna Starshine, Sarah Sponge Love 06, my boy Brandon Heaton. Thank you and welcome to the Curvy Critic with Carla Renata. So I usually start the show out talking about what my week was like. Y'all know this was a week for the gods, honey. 2020 left, came back, put a wig on, and is masquerading as 2021. And you're going to hear me say that more than once during this broadcast because it's the truth. But having said that, in the midst of the madness, I was able to decompress and be distracted by doing a Q&A, a film independent Q&A with the cast and creatives of Fatale, which I've talked about on this show several times. And that would include Michael Ealy, Deon Taylor, and not Rebecca. Oh my God, she's going to kill me that I messed up her name. Roxanne Avant, who is the producer and wife of Deon Taylor. So I talked to Roxanne, Deon, and Michael Ealy about Fatale. It will show up on the Film Independent YouTube page. When that goes live, please check my social media and I will let you know when that happens. I also did I did a Q&A for Film Independent with everybody from one night in Miami. And by everybody, I mean Regina King and Kim Powers. So that is already up on the Film Independent site. You can check that out there. I am going to have interviews up next week because I have interviewed this week at a junket Regina King, Kingsley Ben Adair, who plays Malcolm X, Leslie Odom Jr., who plays Sam Cooke, and Aldous Hodge, who plays Jim Brown. So having said that, you guys, I said that I've introduced some new segments this year. One of them is called Around the Curve, where I'll be telling you the latest and greatest film news that's happening. And I've decided to tape those segments so that I don't ramble, because y'all know I can ramble. So I have taped that segment and I'm going to play that for you before I do these Curvy Critic movie reviews of Pieces of a Woman and MLB FBI documentary. So here we go. Let's take a trip around the curve. Baby, 2020 left, came back with a new wig on in 2021 and shut Hollywood all the way down until further notice due to high rising COVID-19 numbers. I'll keep my eyes peeled on that one for you. John Boyega and his Upper Room production company signed a deal with Netflix developing non-English films focusing on West and East Africa. And another Black Brit is being discussed for James Bond. This time is Bridgerton star Regé-Jean Page. On a recent Tonight Show appearance, Page replied, "If you're a Brit and you do something of any kind of renown that people regard well, then people start saying the B word. B standing for Bond." A trailer dropped this week for Netflix's Malcolm and Marie. It was shot during the pandemic and directed by Sam Levinson. It stars Zendaya and John David Washington. Award season is heating up, y'all, with Nomadland taking all the top prizes at the National Society of Film Critics Awards for Best Picture, Cinematography, Actress, and Director. Delroy Lindo took home the Best Actor prize for The Five Bloods. Borat subsequent movie film breakout Maria Bakalova took home the Best Supporting Actress. Sound of Metal's Paul Rashi took home Best Supporting Actor. Best Screenplay went to Eliza Hittman for Never, Rarely, Sometimes, Always. Best Foreign Language Film went to The Collective documentary, and nonfiction film went to the documentary Time. The Oscars international race is heating up with 93 entries, and in no surprise move, Roku acquired Quibi, giving the streamer legs to compete with larger giants like Amazon and Apple TV. Genius Aretha is finally coming to Nat Geo, according to a post shared by its star Cynthia Erivo in March. The Critics' Choice Association is having their inaugural Super Awards on the CW tonight, hosted by Danny Fernandez. Lee Daniels and Andra Day are taking their United States versus Billie Holiday pick from Paramount to Hulu. And in other Paramount news, Paramount announced that Damien Chazelle's Hollywood period pick, Babylon, is also slated for December 25th, 2022. All right. And that is it for Around the Curve. I told you I was going to say that thing about the wig getting snatched off. You're going to hear me say it again because it's the truth. So let's get into the Curvy Critic Minute reviews. The first one up on the docket is Pieces of a Woman. It is directed by Cornel Madrucio, and it stars Vanessa Kirby, Shia LaBeouf, and Ellen Burstyn. You have heard me speak about this film here on the Curvy Critic with Carla Renata before because I saw it as part of the Toronto Film Festival in fall of 2020. But this film is an excellent film. It is streaming now on Amazon Prime Video, and it takes you on the journey of a woman who is dealing with pregnancy and the loss of a child from all types of vantage points. The film is fantabulous, if nothing else, for the performances by Ellen Burstyn, Vanessa Kirby, and Shia LaBeouf. Vanessa Kirby and Ellen Burstyn have a scene that is for the gods, and it is cinematic history at its best. And the monologue that Ellen Burstyn does in that film, I hear, is mostly improvised. So check that out on Amazon Prime Video. MLB FBI is a documentary that is produced by IFC Films, and it is directed by Sam Pollard. Sam Pollard, I've talked about on this show ad nauseum, but this particular documentary drops on January 15th, which is the day that we usually celebrate Martin Luther King's birthday. It is a documentary that centers around the FBI files that have just been made public on Martin Luther King and his life while he was living, leading all the way up to his subsequent death and the shenanigans that Herbert Hoover and the FBI had against him. So there's that. Check out those two films, Pieces of a Woman and the FBI, the MLB FBI documentary. Okay, you guys, check them out. All right, here we go. Let me talk to you about my boy, Harold Perrineau Jr. Harold and I go way, way, way back. We started out, I don't know if any of y'all know this, but Harold started out as a song and dance man. And that's how we met. We were singing and dancing in the theme park in Doswell, Virginia called Kings Island. And that's how we met. And we have been thick as thieves and like brothers and sisters ever since. He also was a member of the Alvin Ailey Dance Company. He was Tyrone Jackson in the TV series Fame and traveled the world with Debbie Allen doing that. He was also in the international touring company of Dreamgirls. Y'all know him as Michael Dawson in Lost. You know him as Murch in the Best Man franchise. You know him as Link in the Matrix Reloaded and Matrix Revolution franchise. You know him as Lee Wayne, Rhea in Dumplin', Augustus Hill in Oz, Dean Sims on Claws, and his latest gig is Nick Armstrong in The Rookie. He most recently won an Emmy Award, y'all. He won an Emmy, not an Emmy Award. See, I'm putting that out there. He ain't won an Emmy Award. He won an NAACP Image Award. I can see him laughing at me. He laughing at me already. He won an NAACP Image Award for his role on Claws. So without further ado, I want to bring to the stage my brother in the struggle, Mr. Harold Perrineau.
What's up, sis?
Look, I got you getting awards that you ain't even won yet.
I got an Oscar for a TV show and then a Grammy.
You got a Grammy. As soon as it tumbled out of my mouth, I'm like, you were just all kinds of wrong. What are you doing?
Trying to fix my camera. I can't figure it out.
You're good. You're good.
Got it.
You're good.
Got it. What's up, sis?
Oh, brother, I'm so happy to talk to you. I love you so much.
Same here. I love you more than you know, more than anybody knows.
Right? More than anybody knows, because most people didn't even know we knew each other. How about that?
All right. Know each other, right?
Okay, nobody even knew that. They're like, she know him? They go back like that? Yeah, we do. We go back like that. Okay, but before we get into Romeo and Juliet and some other stuff, do you remember the time that when you were at Alvin Ailey, you were like, Carla, come take this class. You know, they have these classes here and you might want to take class. And you invited me to, it was a class where y'all could invite people like once during whatever time it was. And you were like, sit on the floor and watch. And I was like, okay. And I sat on that floor and I watched, and kids were doing those combinations across the floor. And you were like, don't you want to get up and do the combinations across the floor? I was like, and that would be a negative. No.
I'm gonna tell you, I don't remember it, but that sounds about right.
Oh my God. I was like,
right.
and you were like giving grand jetés and botmans. You were twirling it and giving it all you had. But
Listen,
I was like, what is that? Move your camera over a little bit. Your face is like half in and half out.
half in and half out.
There you go, right
Listen,
there. Yeah.
when you go to Alvin Ailey and you study there, they teach you how to dance, man. Like when I left there, I could dance. So.
You can throw down. I know. You.
So, yeah.
I did. I seen you, but stop. But I wanted you to come here today because, and I went back and watched Romeo and Juliet because I realized I remembered most of it, but I really hadn't looked at the film since it came out, which is a while ago. And it's directed, written, and produced by Baz Luhrmann. So a lot of people of this generation would know Baz's name from Moulin Rouge, right?
Right.
What's interesting to me about it is that his style developed with Romeo and Juliet because he takes pop music and he takes a situation that you would never in a million years think of putting into that cinematic space and just flips it upside down and around on its head. And that's what he did with Romeo and Juliet. And dare I say, it was probably one of the best performances Claire Danes and Leonardo DiCaprio gave in their entire career. They were so good, and they looked like they were 12. They probably were 12, but they were so good. But they were giving us kind of like that West Side Story vibe versus like that Rebel Without a Cause when he goes behind the door and he's shooting at the police. That's like straight out of Rebel Without a Cause, right? But then they gave us Mercutio. They gave us you, baby, in all your white Afro wig glory. So let's talk about how you got that gig. Let's talk about how you got that gig and if you'd ever even delved into the classics before taking on that project.
Right. So as you know, we were in New York around the same time. I was just auditioning for everything that came up. I went back to school like after Ailey's, and I danced professionally for a while. I went back to school, like at acting school. And so in acting class, I certainly had done some Shakespeare, but not, I wasn't I couldn't say I'm like a classically trained actor, but
yes,
we learned it. I didn't only learn the classics, but I did definitely do it in class and for every audition. And so when Romeo and Juliet came out, man, I think every actor in New York auditioned for it. Black, Hispanic, white, like everybody auditioned for it. I auditioned, I don't know, 8 times.
Really?
8 times. Something crazy. Like
was it the same? Okay, so let's just stop there and pause there for a second. So you auditioned 8 times. What did you have to repeat the same thing each time, or was it a different incarnation and phase each time you went in?
I think if I remember this correctly, each time I went in, I had to do the Queen Mab speech. I think that's the thing when I'm enticing him to come to the party, and why should he worry about being sad about love and all that stuff. So I think I did that. The reason I'm not sure is because the last time I went into audition was the most traumatic time.
Why?
It was because Baz Luhrmann is a mad genius.
He's intense, though. I've met him. He's very intense.
Oh man, he is a mad genius. He is so good, and I was trying so hard to get this part. And so, first you audition for the casting directors. You do the thing, you come back, the producers, blah blah blah. And the last time it was just me and Baz, and he had like a little camera, like back in the day. And he just had me doing the thing, and he was following me around, and he had backed me up. And at some point, he was like on top of me on a desk with the camera shooting down, and me just doing like the whole speech. Like I left it just going like, either I got the job or I just got assaulted. I can't really tell which one. One of those just happened.
You were like, this was strange as hell, but okay, I'm gonna go with it.
But I'm always down to go with it. I'm always down. So it was that was it. I auditioned, and they whisked us away to Mexico, and we got after it.
Oh, so y'all didn't, it looks so much like LA. So y'all shot that in Mexico.
Yeah, yeah, we shot it in Mexico City and in this little beach community called Veracruz.
And
And
how long did y'all shoot for?
oh man, how long were we there? Geez, this was a long time ago, Carlos. So
I know
we
it's been 25 years, so I know the memory is gonna be a little sketchy. Because I
a
know we about the same age, it's a little sketchy.
little dark on some of the details. So we must have been there about 4 months, about 4 months, 5 months, something like that. I can't
Hmm.
remember, something
Hmm.
like that. But it was definitely wild. We shot it and had a good time as well.
Okay, so I know you a dancer.
Uh huh.
I know you were doing your thing. Was that the first time you got in drag? I know it's not the last time
It's
because you
certainly
just
not the last time.
recently.
It's
But was
not the
that the
last
first time?
time.
'Cause those pumps, they was kind of, even I couldn't twirl in those pumps. So I was like, well, okay then.
So if we go back to Ailey's, they had there was a male point class we had to take. So while I didn't have heels, I was used to dancing on my
You were
toes.
dancing in point shoes?
We had a male point class that we had that was
Oh, did
a
your feet
requirement.
kill you? Because I used to dance in point and my toes would be like,
Oh yeah, they're terrible, yo. They're terrible. So
I'm surprised my feet don't look like the chicken boomerang right now. Because, ooh, ooh, dancing in point shoes is not cute. You take your feet out and your toes be like this.
like that. Just hammer time. Just hammer time.
It's worse than hammer time.
Yeah.
It's like sledgehammer time. It is just all kind of sad and wrong.
So yeah, that was the first time I dressed in drag, and I was actually really surprised that that's what he wanted to do. And so because of our really diverse background, I wasn't unaware of being in drag or dancing in drag or anything like that. So it just wound up being just a really good time. We had hours and hours and hours that we were on our feet in those heels, and that part is not fun. But I think the final,
I know.
yeah, I know you know,
Okay.
those character shoes that y'all used to have to wear, like, ugh, and they were comfortable. So
They're calling me shady in the chat room. I'm not shady. Look, if seriously though, he's like my little brother for real, for real. He
yeah,
knows I'm not being shady. I'm just telling the truth. This is how we
no,
roll.
y'all ain't got to
Actually,
worry
if you
about
weren't on
nothing that
camera,
we
it
do
would
here.
be worse.
Y'all ain't got to worry about one thing we do here. Everything we do here, we've done before. We're good. we are good.
Wow. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
yeah,
So there were heavyweights in this film. You had Paul Sorvino, you had
yeah.
Jamie Kennedy, but Jamie Kennedy wasn't a heavy. Jamie Kennedy was relatively unknown then at the time, right?
Yeah, at the time. Yep.
You had Leo, you had Claire, you had
John
Vonnie Curtis
Leguizamo,
Hall, um,
Bondi Curtis Hall. Yep.
Dennehy, John Leguizamo, Christina Pickles from ER, Paul
Ooh,
Rudd. I
yep.
looked at that cast list. I was like, really though? So
Yeah. Yeah.
did you
Yeah.
table read beforehand and rehearse? Do you remember?
I don't think we did a table read. I think one of the things that was really important for Baz was to make sure that we didn't sound like we were British, that we sounded really, really American. So we had a lot of work with with a speech coach
Uh-huh.
just to make sure that we didn't slip into old, classical from class, wacky stuff
Um,
like that. Just sort of learn, make sure we had the language, but make sure it really sounded like Americans. Like the reason I think I got the job is the reason I didn't get the job any other time for a classical piece. It's because I sounded very much like a New Yorker
You
at
really
the time.
did. I was like, oh, they're
So
going there. They're giving you because everybody had a different kind of American accent. I'm glad you brought that up. Nobody
right.
had the same American accent. So, the Capulets and the Montagues, like you could understand why these were two different families that came from two different places, even
Yeah.
except for Paul, Paul Sorvino, don't matter what movie he in, he just gonna sound like, Big Paulie from the Goodfellas.
Even if he has the Spanish accent, he's big and scary.
He's just Big Paulie from the Goodfellas, no matter what I see him in. But I did notice that was a choice that nobody was
Yeah.
making in that pentameter
Right. Iambic, yeah.
That pentameter accent that's usually associated with the Shakespearean classics. So I'm glad you brought that up. That's cool that y'all did that.
Yeah, it was really cool. And it was fun for me because like he let us do things like we could only use Shakespeare's words, but he let us do like improvising and stuff like that. And so there's one scene I remember I was trying to get into the where we were going because we were about to get into the fight with Leguizamo. And I started doing that Biggie song, "Where the cash at? Where the stash at?" I started doing it, and he left it in the movie. So there's me doing Biggie and Shakespeare all in one like little scene. I just love it. Like from Brooklyn.
I love that.
I love it. So
Baz is a badass, man. I love his filmmaking because he takes risk and he takes chances. And we were talking before we came on camera, we were talking the other day, and we were saying that when this film initially was released, folk were not having it. It's been 25 years ago since this film was released, and people weren't having it. They weren't having it because it didn't look like anything else they'd ever seen. And it's the same way people approach something that approach people of color sometimes because they're not familiar with us or because they've had no interaction with us. They have a tendency to react out of fear as opposed to just, you know, taking that ride. It's the same way people deal with Baz Luhrmann's films. But the funny thing is that even though they did that with Romeo and Juliet, by the time Moulin Rouge came along, they were on the Baz Luhrmann train, honey.
Exactly.
They took Moulin Rouge, made it into a musical. I think at one point they might have been talking about making it into a TV show. I'm like, y'all are doing the most with some Moulin Rouge. The big thing that I love about Moulin Rouge is that John Leguizamo was in that as well.
Right.
So it's probably where his relationship with Baz began. And it was the same kind of character.
Right.
So weird. It was the same kind of character. And
he was playing the artist. What's his name? The artist who was a little person, but really, really popular at the time.
You talking about the Moulin Rouge?
Yeah.
I don't remember, but I remember he was crazy as hell. He was like walking around like this, and he was crazy as hell. It was funny, but I loved that. I loved that.
And I think in The Great Gatsby, Baz coordinated with Jay-Z, right? Isn't the music in The Great Gatsby like Jay-Z did like a lot of
yeah. I mean,
it's doing that stuff.
It's crazy. We just lost Brian Dennehy this past year too, and he's in there. He's in that film too.
Yeah.
Did you get an opportunity to work with him at all?
I did work with Brian Dennehy. He's an irascible old dude. Like, you know, he didn't take nothing from nobody. And we actually at the time, right after that, wound up with the same agent. So I used to.
That's cool.
I used to talk about him all the time. But just watch. It was a good time for me to watch those, you know, older cats do stuff and be on set. And some things I took away, and some things, you know.
You have to leave them in a box somewhere and be like, "I get you in a minute."
Some things some folks can get away with that I can't get away with. That I can't get away with. Some folks.
Right. Well, I wanna step away from Romeo and Juliet for a second, and before I let you go, you know, I gotta talk to you about merch in the Best Man franchise, because baby, merch to me, out of every character I've ever seen you do, feels closer to you.
See, this is the problem. Now this is the problem, Carla. Now I recognize, and we just had this conversation. I have been corny my whole life. This is true. When you met me when we back at Kings Dominion, corny. I'm not gonna lie.
I did, y'all. Literally the other day, I was talking to Harold on the phone, and I was like, I don't know if I ever told you this, but you always reminded me of my real little brother, because my real little brother is just so corny. And he was like there was this awkward silence on the phone, like, oh damn, she done found me out. After all these years, she just not telling me that she thought I was corny. I think you were corny. I just thought you acted like my brother, who I know is definitively corny. I mean, my brother is like, you know, Monty Python down. He's that dude.
Oh, got it. But listen, I'm corny. I'm not gonna lie. I wish I was I wish I was cool as Mercutio. I am not. But that being said, I'm not as corny as Merch.
You're not corny, but when I say that Merch is the closest to you, that sensitivity that Merch has, that's soft, like, you know, really warm, sensitive, considerate side of Merch reminds me of who you are for real.
Well, thank you. That's very nice. After the movie came out, both times, Best Man and Best Man Holiday, people who would see me on the street would look at me and like shake their head and like hug me because they were just worried for me. You know, like there's probably some woman somewhere womanizing me, like just not womanizing me, just, you know, taking over my life. And I was probably just some poor soul just trying to live. And I was like, no, I'm not. Nah, Shelby is a character. That's not me. I get a woman in control. Well, no, I don't. Anyway.
You're making my nose turn red. I'm over here looking like Rudolph.
Yeah. So we're all talking now about the third one, so we'll see how that goes.
Ooh, I need to come on a set visit for that one. You know, it's like one of my favorite movies. You know, when it comes on, I am all about it, especially that second one, The Best Man Holiday, dude. It takes me for a loop. I cry every time, especially when I don't cry during this part, but the part that's my favorite part out of the whole movie is when y'all do that throwback to New Edition with the hats and the choreography. I'm like, what was not lost on me, but was hella funny in that moment is that I know that all of y'all know how to dance and y'all feeling it. Like I know Terrence knew how to dance because Terrence had done the Jackson 5, you know, mini series. I knew Tay from Broadway. I know you. I wasn't sure about Morris, but Morris could kind of hold his own against y'all.
He threw down.
Y'all intimidated him because y'all was like, yeah.
No, bow. Like, we were throwing it up.
When that hand went up and y'all like, I was like, okay, they're not playing. They are not playing around. I was there for every last single solitary moment of it.
That was a good Malcolm Lee call. Malcolm's so great and smart. He's such a great director as well. So
yeah. And I don't want to let you go without, you know, calling attention to what I said in the beginning, your NAACP award for.
Oh yeah.
I was there that night, so I was like.
That was really nice that you were there.
I was there that night. I was in the press room, and I was like, I really need to be professional, but I kind of don't want to right now. Like I was like, and we started cutting up, and I was like, okay, wait, I gotta be professional. You were like, okay,
yeah. You were very professional. Buttoned it down. You hooked it up. You were great.
I had to, but I didn't want to let you go without acknowledging that, and I definitely didn't want to let you go without acknowledging your recurring role on The Rookie, because, dude,
that's
like a whole nother shade of Harold Perrineau that I had never seen. I'm like, oh, you got darkness lurking around you like that?
I'm from Cypress Hills Project. I got it all. So.
But that's what makes you that's what makes you you're one of the, I don't know if you know this, but you're one of the most beloved actors in our community because we don't hear no drama. There's no drama associated with you. You know, there's no drama associated with your name. We ain't seeing you up on TMZ. It ain't none of that. You know what I mean? And everybody respects you. Everybody respects your work. The fan, I'm sure you saw this when I posted that you were going to come here. Every single person that I know was like, oh my God, I love his work. I love him so much. He's so this, there was nothing but positive, flowing, glowing accolades about you.
Oh, wow. That's really nice. I didn't look at it because I don't look at it, but yeah.
I know you don't, but I did. And I'm telling you.
Thank you.
I read it and I'm telling you what they said. I wanted to give you this message from Beth Merritt. She said, Harold, can't tell you enough how much I enjoyed working with you on Lost. Always such a gentleman and genuinely kind and caring. Keep up the good work. Oh,
nice. Thank you, Beth. That's so nice. Right on.
And there's a bunch of people, they're like, yes, he's so nice. He's so great. So I just wanted to make sure you
know. I got to stop being corny, Carla. I got to stop being corny.
Don't ever, no, I'm corny. I'm corny. That's why we're friends, because I'm corny. I'm like the biggest little nerd you ever. I'm so nerdy and so corny.
You really,
like,
really are.
Let this face fool you. I am the biggest nerd walking. It's pitiful.
I know, and I love it. And I got to be honest, I'm going to say this to you on air, like I said it to you before. I am so proud of you being out there, being a critic, a Black woman as a critic, so important and necessary, and you kill the game. And these interviews, like I've seen enough of them to know that you are this kind and funny and smart, informed, like all of it. And so congratulations. I'm really happy for you.
Okay. Thank you, Harold. I appreciate you. I really do. Thank you so much. It's a mutual benefit. Well, I'm not going to take any more of your time. I'm going to kick you out the studio now so I can say goodbye to the people. But
Here we go.
I took just corny. Both of us can't even help it. But I thank you so much for taking time out of your Sunday evening. I know it wasn't easy. We're in quarantine. We're locked down. Folk ain't working. You got a house full of women. Like, it's a whole situation. So, and not in the way y'all think. Get your minds out the gutter. So, but thank you. I really do appreciate you.
Thanks, Carla. Have a great time.
You too, baby. Bye.
I love you.
Love you, Black. Where did I go? Oh. Oh my God, you guys. I love Harold so much. That is my boo. I love him. He is just the best. All right. So I want to thank him one more time for popping in and hanging with us and making me laugh and making my nose turn red. Because now I'm sitting here looking like Rudolph. And y'all are like, what is wrong with her face? Why is her face red? Because Harold made me laugh. Okay. So for when's his next gig? I will find out what his next gig is and I will let you know. Michael B, and welcome to the chat room tonight. Okay, so hold up, wait a minute. Before we go, let me tell you what's coming up next week. I got some award season predictions. We're going to start with the Golden Globes and the SAG Awards, which are right around the corner. I'm going to talk about my picks for Best Actress. The award season is already starting to shape up, but that doesn't mean that I still have my favorites, and I'm just going to, root for who I root for to the bitter end. I'm also going to have a review of American Skin. And like I said at the beginning of the show, I have interviews from the director of One Night in Miami, Regina King, and cast members Aldous Hodge, Kingsley Ben-Adair, and Leslie Odom Jr. Again, if this is your first time joining me here at the Curvy Critic with Carla Renata, please give me a thumbs up to let me know you were here. Click that bell for notifications and subscribe to the channel because I have lots of other wonderful people coming. I can't tell you who they are, though, but you will love them when they get here. Anywho, until next week, love, peace, and hair grease, and I'll see you the next time. Deuces.